All right. Hi, AP Biology. Welcome to the summer assignment. So we are almost midway through July. And every summer we do a summer assignment for AP Biology to get you guys ready and on task for the school year. But this is also hopefully just a chance to get you outside and hopefully interested in some of the things that we're going to be learning about in biology this year. So for your summer assignment, you guys have about 5 weeks to complete this. It's about closer to 5.5 if you count the week before or the week that classes start. There's a few days there. But you guys have a couple different options of things that you can do. So you can choose either of these two options. If you consider yourself more of a reader, or if you're just curious about any of these potential books to read, you can have the option one, which is these are some nonfiction science books that are definitely good reads. Your Inner Fish, Survival of the Sickest, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, and The Sixth Extinction. Each of those are definitely worth a good read if you get a chance. But with those options, you need to find 2 current events from this summer that relate to the contents of the book that you read. And then you'll also need to, so if you choose that option, if you decide to read the book, you will have a discussion with me about the book as well once you come back to school. So in addition to finding those 2 current events and reading the book, we'll have a sit-down conversation, and that's how you'll earn your credit for that part of the summer assignment. For option 2, if you decide to do that, you have 4 of the following things that you need to do. So there's a long list, about 21 different options that you can do. You need to choose 4 of these. You have the next 5 weeks to do so. So if you space them out correctly, or you should have about 1 a week or a little bit to do on several of them each week. And the goal of these, again, is just to get you guys outside doing something that interests you and maybe even interests other members of your family or friends. And so with these, I'm not going to go through all of these, but I'll just mention a couple. For instance, with the Get Current News, this could be something where you just go online, find a news article, talk about that, and do a short summary per week on that. You do need to have 5 of those total if you decide to do that one. And that would count, so 5 weeks of those summaries would count for 1 of the 4 topics that you need to complete. You could go to 2 state parks, and if you decided to do that, a couple that are relatively close to me are Castlewood State Park and Powder Valley State Park. So let's say you decided to hike those 2, then you would make sure you have 2 pictures at that park and 2 pictures of the park maps. Or if you use any of the GPS apps, tracking apps like Strava or your Garmin Connect or whatever other Apple service there is, you can just take a picture of that hike that you took. It doesn't need to be a certain distance. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to necessarily find anything in particular, but those are just chances to get outside, explore some of the St. Louis or Missouri parks. This also it doesn't have to be local. If you go on a family trip somewhere and you decide to hike along sand dunes, or you go on a hike in one of the national parks, that can qualify for that as well. Also, if you did a hike earlier in the summer that you want to include in it, it doesn't have to fall within the time period right now and the start of school. But it does have to fall during the summer. In other words, if you did it last school year, it doesn't count. So this is something that, has some wiggle room to it. If you have any questions on it, you can make sure to reach out to me and I can answer some of those. Other things, they're not all outdoor related, but if you play a board game with your family twice, pictures of the board game while you're playing the board game. You can obviously go camping outside. This particular thing called geocaching, river cleanup, and this list is not comprehensive. If you think of something that isn't on the list that you're interested in doing that somehow relates the kind of connection between science and nature and your own experience with those, you can message me about it, preferably before, just so you don't spend time doing something for credit that you're not going to get credit for. But any of these options are all fun, even stuff like visiting the Arch if you haven't done that in a while. So these aren't strictly related to going and visiting St. Louis parks. So if you decide to do this option 2, remember you have to do 4 of these. 2 of them are due by the end of July. So you need to send me confirmation that you've completed 2 of these before the end of July. And there's a notice about that at the bottom. And this is, I just left this picture in here. This is one that Mr. Pendleton has used, but this is showing you what Strava has, how that confirms that you've done a hike. But you need to send me 2 of the 20 options before the end of July. If you decide to do option 2, you'll need to send me confirmation that you've done 2 of them, as well as the evidence showing me that you have. And then the last 2 will be before August 15th. So those are those 2 options. Remember, if you do option 1, most of that falls once you come back to school. You just need to have read the book, obviously, and completed the second step of that. This is posted in the email. In other words, this whole document, and it'll also be posted on the course on Canvas as soon as that gets published. And so you'll be able to see this there. If you have any questions on that, though, please reach out and let me know. I hope you guys are having a good summer. I'm looking forward to the start of the school year. And if any of this doesn't make sense, please make sure to reach out to me. I will gladly explain it. And also, make sure that you are starting to look through your textbook, and more on that in the next video. Thanks.